One of the themes that UNEB is assessing, mostly in PLE, in social studies, it is resources and economic development. This theme in 2024 contributed 19% of that paper, and in 2025 it contributed 22% of the paper. In 2024, the questions that were generated from topics that are under this theme was question 12, which was asking children to state the use of a common currency in promoting trade in East Africa. Question 21, which was asking children to state how they can ensure proper use of the money given to them. Then there was question 24, which was asking children to mention one way in which industries can reduce water pollution in an area. Then there was question 16, that was asking children to give the difference between a banker and a shopkeeper. Question 29 was asking children to write any one way in which the Uganda National Bureau of Standards promotes the quality of goods on Uganda's market. Then question 33 was asking children to state one way in which poverty can slow down the development of a country. And then question number 34 was asking children to mention one factor that made the temperate climatic region of South Africa good for sheep rearing. Now when you look at section B, question 43 was about maize growing. And they asked children to name any two products got from maize, and then to state any two reasons why they would advise a farmer to sell maize in the form of its products. Then there was question 50 in 2024, was talking about the activity that that pupils can carry out in school in order to get money. And then they were asking them to state the importance of different factors such as skills and land in starting a project or an income generating activity, as well as to mention the one practice that can promote the progress of an income generating activity. Now this paper for 2024, the focus was on social services, the role regional bodies play in promoting trade. They were focusing on industrial development and its effect on the environment, the livelihood, the work people do. They were asked to compare a banker and a shopkeeper. Then it was also focusing on the factors affecting development, which is why they were talking about poverty. And then they focused on economic activities, where they talked of sheep rearing in South Africa, then agriculture, that is maize growing. And then they also looked at the government agencies, the role government agencies play in development. That's why they talked about the Uganda National Bureau of Standards. Which role does it play in ensuring that there is quality goods on the market? And then they also talked about the role of international organizations in development. That's why they brought in the issue of the Commonwealth. And lastly, the focus was on projects. This is covered in primary 3, the projects under the topic managing resources in our sub-county hall division. In 2025, where was the focus? The question is asked here, or question 15, which asked children to mention the products made from plastic bottles. Question 19, which was asking them about the factors that affect development, where they were required to compare development in politically stable countries and those experiencing civil wars. Then question 27 was asking them to mention the importance of economic cooperation in promoting better standards of living among people. Then when you look at question 30, last year's paper, it was focusing on the advantages of tarmac roads over Malam roads. This is about infrastructure development. And then 32 was asking them to identify the challenges faced by traders as a result of selling similar goods. The focus here was on competition. And then in question 41, last year's paper, it was talking about agriculture still. And the focus here on part B and C was asking children to state 2 ways in which the use of modern machines improves crop growing. This is agricultural modernization, which is one of the priorities of the government. And then the other was to state a reason why some East African governments, including that of Uganda, reduce taxes on some farm produce. This is an incentive to promote agriculture. Then 42 was talking about the tree planting project, how Mr. OP can care for the trees and how we can benefit from the forest that he planted. Then when you proceed and you go to question 45, it was talking about industrial development still. They were asking children to mention 2 other factors to consider when selecting human labor to work in an industry apart from technical skills. And then part B was asking them to state ways in which the government can reduce the movement of skilled labor out of the country. This is brain drain, one of the challenges affecting development in Africa. Then question 47 was focusing on which steps the government of East Africa or the governments of East Africa are taking to improve railway transport. This is about developing the transport infrastructure. And then when you look at question 49, it was about the pie charts. These pie charts, they were comparing 2 countries. So here we see the case study countries, country A, country B. But then look at part B. It was asking children to state 1 way in which country A can improve its industrial sector, and then why would country B need more electricity than country A. So we are looking at the factors that promote development. Now, what do we take from this? It is very important that we understand the goals and priorities of the government as we teach these children. We need to make sure that we don't disconnect the concepts we are teaching. One challenge we are having is we teach these concepts in isolation. Now, when you look at all of these questions, 2025 and 2025, you realize that they are generated from the same topics of government of Uganda, managing resources in P3, livelihood in our sub-county division, how to meet people's needs. Then you look at economic development in Africa, major world organizations, people in our district. Then you look at the East African community and then post-independence Africa. These topics, they have concepts that we have to teach while relating them. We must build a connection between the post-independence Africa with the major world organizations. We need to look at the contribution or the different stakeholders in the development of a country. You see that people as citizens play a role. You look at the government and its agencies play a role. You look at the role of the international organizations. What about the local leaders or the leaders in the country? Which role do they play? How about the neighboring countries? What is the role of economic integration among countries in development? And then we need to connect the national aims of education with the learning outcomes, because you'll see, for example, in P7 that one of the learning outcomes there is the learner appreciates the role played by the Commonwealth in the development of the member countries. And then they come and ask these children a question like, state any 2 ways in which the Commonwealth of Nations improves the economy of its member countries. It is very important that we appreciate the value of learning outcomes.